Alrighty. Cool. Catching up. Nice. Do you see each other during the week or only here? Oh, okay. Okay. Oh. Easy. Yeah. Yeah. I went to try to get from there. Life. At least he can tell me he has. You know, that is then I asked him what happened to. Shall we start? I can also make tea and we can just talk, because I know these guys online, they would also be very happy to just have tea and talk. But I think it's also important to sometimes not talk, hey? Quietness and stillness. All right, let's come into a seat. If you have something to sit on, I'm leaving the door open for now, and I'll close it later when it's. Is it too loud for you? Okay. So let's come into a seat and just close our eyes for a moment. And actually notice the shift of energy of being outwards, talking, taking information in from what the other person says. And then it's such a beautiful energy, the energy of expressing, of sharing, storytelling. But then can we almost turn that around, and that same amount of love and energy and holding space that we do so often for others, can we now mirror that towards ourselves? In a moment of stillness, pay attention to your body and your breath. And your being, allowing with every slow and deep breath for whatever happened today to just kind of go to the background. So bringing, paying attention to the breath, bringing that to the front allows for other things to kind of slowly, and it might take a couple of rounds of breath, it might take a moment to kind of drift away. And then sometimes it comes back and then it drifts away again. And you've got your breath to anchor into, to return to. So let's actually sit still for another 2 minutes, just breathing. Allowing yourself to let the day just slide away. If it helps you to count the length of your in and exhales, to keep you focused, do so. Maybe a sigh just comes. Sometimes I just feel it's bubbling up and then just let it go. Go into your senses, your ears, the taste in your mouth, the smell through the nostrils of your nose, the temperature of your skin, the air around your body. What is it that you need in this moment? And what kind of energy would you like to invite onto your mat and into the rest of the evening? Whether it's peace, gratitude, self-love, self-care, self-confidence, love in general. There is many words, or maybe it's an image or a color. If you want, you can place your hands together in front of the heart, and for a moment, really feel how your thumbs connect, how the fingertips, the fingerprints of your thumbs connect, and then pay attention with your mind's eye to your index fingers. You can even tap them very lightly. Then pay attention to your middle finger. Feel them, the pressure, soft pressure between them. Ring finger, really bringing you into the subtle connections and messages of the body. And the pinky finger. Palms connect fully, right and left, yin and yang. Masculine, feminine. And maybe an intention or a dedication of your practice to someone else. A word, a mantra, a color, an image. You may bow your head towards your finger. For me, that's an acknowledgement that I am multiple layers. There's multiple layers to my being, my body, my mind, my heart, my spirits, all these different worlds that we can explore. And then come onto your back and let's start in a yummy supported bridge pose. An inversion, so you can choose. It's actually quite warm. I don't even know. Yeah. Sun will set. Is here in the center. So come onto your back and then find a prop. It doesn't need to be high. Feet are hip width apart. Place the prop underneath your hips and then settle in. Take a couple of moments maybe to roll your shoulder blades down. I invite you to have the palms facing up. So there's an openness around the collarbones. If you do this after a big meal, it will feel a little uncomfortable because your intestines will be full, your stomach will be full. I assume that it's pre-dinner, kind of pre-dinner time, but still you can feel into the energy of your guts. It's a slight inversion, so the hips are higher than the heart and the heart is a little higher than the brain. Just reversing some of the energy flow. Our body is full of rivers, beautiful rivers of energy, rivers of lymph. And bloodstream is another river with all sorts of side rivers. So let every breath slow you down, calm you down. And on your mat here right now, you can start to listen deeply, deeply within, rather than focusing your ears, your attention, your cognitive reasoning to output from the outer world. Listen to your inner voice. You're the vessel, your body is constantly talking to you through sensations, through the experience of being here in a pose with your breath. Around 4 to 6 breaths to breathe in and around 4 to 6 breaths or counts, excuse me, to breathe out. Soften your jaw. Stillness, softness, calmness, peacefulness. Sighs are welcome. Yeah. You can stay here, or for the last little bit, you might have to go one level lower. You may, you don't have to. You can extend the arms and the legs so you are fully stretched out, but the hips are the highest point of your body. Just notice if that feels all right. If the body is saying like, no, why are you doing this? I prefer the other one. Just go back to the other one. One is not better than the other. And let your hips be heavy on your block. One more deep breath in. And a long, soft breath out. Start to bend the knees if they are extended and place the feet back down. Your hands can come to your prop. Engage your muscles, lift your hips slightly and just bring the spine back. We take a moment of rebound and in between moments to just feel. Maybe already feel a slight shift of energy, change from how you entered and arrived on your mat compared to how you feel now. Through stillness, through closing your eyes, to taking the gaze inwards. Let's take a belt. I'm going to grab a belt for you girls. Do you have one, Margarita? A belt? No. Okay. Grab a belt for the back. And just lift your right leg up. You can already put a prop to the left of you and even shimmy your body a little bit over to the right, because we'll start here and then we'll go into a twist later. I think we need even more space. Yeah, perfect. And then you lift your leg up and just bring the belt over the foot. I like to turn, so I've got very flexible hips, so my left foot is falling all the way out. So I actually like to just kind of turn it side in. Even I'm going to support my foot. So my left hip, that's just me. I'm just explaining what I'm doing. So like, do I have to do the same? No. But my hips tend to kind of overextend. So they're like hanging in the joints and I can feel it. And the weight of the foot turns, almost feels like there's a little bit too much hanging in that left joint. So I like to just block it, turn that left side in. But it might feel that you need space in the openness of the hip. So then you won't have to do that. Now, interestingly, people often say, I've tight hamstrings. 99 or 90% of people, they'll tell you, yeah, I've got tight hamstrings. It is the place where you feel sensations. So if you would point out an area in the body now, you'd probably say probably the hamstrings. Most of us will say, yeah, this is where I feel it, but it's all connected. So it actually means that you're stretching from the heel, Achilles, calf, hamstring, bum muscles, lower back muscles, all the way up this is your back line. Well, your upper body is on the floor, so you'll probably feel it mostly in the right leg at the moment. But you're not just stretching the hamstring. You're stretching a fascia line, the back line of the body, the connective tissue. So if you have a very long hamstring and a short calf, it would be a problem. It's the whole back that is being stretched, creating space. Make sure your shoulders can relax here, so they're not pulling up towards the ears or creating even more tension. Allow them to soften. And yeah, maybe with time, you can feel that just the foot starts to float more towards the face or more upwards. That might just happen. You don't have to actively pull. The weight of the arms is enough to create that space. Can you still breathe? Can you still smile? We've spoken before, it's been a while, about the 5 languages of love. It came from this week. We were hiking with the girls and just speaking about relationships and relationships between the girls and the husband and all of these things, and your relationship itself. The 5 languages of love are actually quite a nice framework for you to know how you express love, how you see what you identify with as being love. Because love means different things to different people, even though we use this word. It's actually something that's really hard to describe. So to, in some way, filter down what love is. There's different ways of showing love, which is touch, acts of service, gifts, words of affirmation, and quality time. And we all have 1 or 2 that we like, yeah, that's really important to me. I know for me, it's quality time. Someone spends time with me, that for me is an act of love. And I also kind of, not expect, but I like it when my loved ones spend time with me. It's important. For others, it's acts of service. My husband, his first language of love is definitely acts of service. And it's just interesting to know and to also practice maybe the love language that is uncommon to you. You might now want to give yourself a little bit of slack before coming into the twist and just see where that leg goes. If it's all the way up here, you're a little bit more restricted in the twist. So if you give yourself a little bit of slack, you can even let go of the belt and just let your foot rest on your prop. You can shimmy your hips a little, shimmy your shoulders a little. And then rest again. And I just thought it was interesting, just an internal dialogue, an internal exploration of in what extent we apply these 5 love languages in a space of self-love, buying yourself a gift. Touch can also, just bringing your hand on your body is a sense of like, yeah, here, I'm here for you. It's strange. Quality time, spending time in quality with yourself, for yourself, which is, again, for me, this is a gift of quality time with my own inner world, with my own body. Act of service, doing things for yourself that are important. What did I miss now? There's one more. Words of affirmation. Words of affirmation. Kind things. We are very critical towards ourselves. I think our inner dialogue, as far as I've understood by having conversations with others, is often negative. We can change that mindset by bringing in some nice words. Sometimes, and I'm the first one to admit that, it's like, yo, the way I speak to myself, I would never speak like that to someone else. It's so unkind. So practicing self-love through also kind words. Or, and this is where we're going to now, is a mantra, and it's a meditation technique called the I am meditation. So you know the mandala, the beads that people wear, often they are 108, which is a sacred number. And the I am meditation, you can do it while seated, and then you go beat by beat, and you repeat an I am. You can also pick 2 or 3, but I would not recommend to pick too many, because then it becomes a bit intellectual in a way that you're just trying to remember what you're repeating. And the I am is an affirmation, something kind about yourself, but really in a space of not an expectation of like, I'm a mother, I'm a friend, the roles that we play in society, but something deeper. I am love, I am kind, I am patient, I am courageous, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm grateful, I'm brave, I'm persistent, I'm community, I am connection, I am Mother Earth, I am energy. Can be so many different things. So I invite you for the next couple of breaths to maybe find your own I am for this moment, which can be different tomorrow. What resonates with you here right now? What do you need a little bit more of in your inner dialogue and support for the rest of this day and week and weekend ahead? What would your friends tell you are? They're not always right, but their conversation around you and towards you is often kinder than your own conversation around yourself. Take a couple more rounds of breaths here. It's quite a challenging one, I find. An option is to bend the knee and just slide your prop a little closer to make it a bit softer. And slowly let go of that leg. Bring it back to center and place both feet back down. And just take a little bit moment to gently, without judging, but just to sense the difference between the right and the left leg. The one might feel a little bit longer, more spacious. Maybe a different color presents itself. And then you can slowly come onto your tummy. If you want to turn your face towards the front, you may. You can also just listen to the cues. Into Sphinx pose first. Elbows can be under your shoulders. You can be like that, but you can also turn around. Yeah, it's up to you. It's a little easier to follow what's going. Yeah, but it was more movement. Okay, if you want to use a prop, a bolster, a pillow under your chest, it's just a support, but you don't have to. You can also use a block, but it's a bit hard. And then turn the thighs a little in. So I'm doing it with my hands. You don't have to do that. You can also lift and kind of point the knees towards each other and then find that space. And you can also, wiggle that bum. Wiggle the bum, make sure the bum muscles are soft. And if you want to support your head, you can take this one. Oh, I'll bring it to you. This one is so much nicer. This is my favorite block. I'll happily share it with you. Yeah, let the head be supported by something. Nice. And certain things we imagine, certain things we really feel. But I like when I let my head rest to feel or to imagine that my brain is also resting. So with the skull, the skin, it's almost like, yeah, that activity can stop for a moment. The neck muscles can soften. The neck and the shoulder muscles work a lot to carry the skull. And I feel that, and I believe, or I imagine, it doesn't matter, that is, as soon as the outer space, the neck, the tendons, the fascia starts to soften, that radiates towards the brain going, okay, I can just stop for a moment. Bring in your I am, and if you want, you can use the right or the left hand. Instead of using beats, 108 beats, we're not going to do 108 exactly, but you can use your thumb or your thumbs and start with thumb to index finger, say the I am. I'm going to use the I am enough. So you gently touch the thumb and index finger and you say I am enough in your head. And then you touch your thumb to your middle finger and you repeat, but you go slow. You can even take a breath in when you change I am enough. And you breathe out and wait for a moment. Change to the next, to the pinky finger. Breathe in, I am enough. And breathe out. And start again, thumb to index. So using that as a connection of the body, of a rhythm, rather than the beats. It's a meditation technique, an affirmation technique, a language of love, a language of self-love. You can do it throughout the entire asana here. Combining the mind, the body, the breath. Slowly lift your head. Remove your prop. And for a moment, just lie onto your tummy. You can use your hands as a pillow for your head. And practice that belly breath. Really let the breath press gently into the floor. Breathe into the sides of the body. Breathe into the lower back. Even pretend you can breathe into your bum. Feel that whole part of your body expand, also the diaphragm. Let's take 10 more slow, deep, conscious breaths and really following the sensations in the tummy, the flanks, the sides, the waist expanding, the lower back expanding. And even hold it for a moment when you feel you are full with that living balloon inside you. And then just letting the air escape. And from here, you can lift your chest, bring your hands next to your rib cage, and come into a child's pose. I hurt my knee, I fell this week in a very silly way. So this is, maybe I can, no, I can. It's already better than yesterday. And then take, the body heals so quickly. Take a block or a prop or both. And this is where you're going to put your elbows. So it's a bit of a measuring. I like my knees quite wide. So first, while the hips stay close to the heels, so that if this is too tight for you, you can also put a pillow here in between. And then you keep that glued together. And then I just measure out how far exactly, how far. So the one elbow is the measuring elbow. The other hand helps the block to go as far as possible, friend. So you're kind of on the edge there. Yeah, so you kind of see like, okay, I can't go a lot further than that, otherwise my elbow would slip off. And that's probably the right distance for you to put both elbows. You can even lift your hips, go back into having the hips back onto the heels, and maybe your head, some people need 2 blocks, hey? Maybe your head can even fall in between your biceps. If it needs to rest on something, let it rest on something. Opening in the hips and opening through the shoulders and opening through the triceps. Yeah, lovely. So I find there's a pose with quite a lot of sensations. Feel free to remove the block at any stage. Now breathe towards those armpits, towards, maybe alternate one breath. You breathe down towards your hips, towards your groin, send the breath down, all the way down to the body. And release. And then the next breath, you breathe as if you're breathing into your shoulders. That's where your attention goes. Tell the joints to take that space, which is that deep breath, and then exhale to soften. And you can just kind of guide the breath, hips, shoulders, nice and slow. The higher the prop under the elbows, the more sensation you'll feel. Doesn't mean it's better. Make sure you can breathe freely and smile while you are in this shape. And connect, well, I mean, that might be a little bit too much, but hips and shoulders is fine. But also feel how your fingerprints touch lots of nerve endings in the soles of the feet and the hands. Yes, in yin yoga, in these fascia release kind of classes, there is an edge. I can feel the edge. This is the shoulder bit for me is the heart. For others, it's the hips that are like, ooh, hello. Breathe. You know that you don't have to stay anywhere. It's not a competition, but let the breath be there for you. We are over halfway. Or you can just put the block a little bit lower. What can you soften on the next exhale? Breathe down towards your hips. Breathe in towards your shoulder joints, your shoulders, your armpits, the side of the rib cage. And a sigh. Whew. I can notice an inner dialogue. I hope this is over soon kind of dialogue happening. Interesting messages from the body. Using the breath to slow down. It's not painful, but it's challenging. 2 more rounds of breath. Ooh la 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 la. Be gentle when you come out because you are using the weight of your head and your chest to stretch into the armpits. So maybe start by lifting your head, placing the lower arms on the block and then placing the arms on the floor. Hello. We roll onto our backs. Crack, crack. I feel like sometimes when you come out of it, you feel like a granny. Like, oh yeah, I need this. My body needs this. We take our strap back. You can place something on the right side of your body that you will use to support the leg in the second part of the shape. Just prepare it there. Maybe if you have a wall on the right side, you have to move your body a little over to the side. Oh, nice yawns here in the community center. Good. That means we are starting to relax. Oh, Emma, that's so cute. I'm so happy your cat is better. Oh, by the way, tomorrow is a big day. Ziggy can go out. We're opening a bottle of champagne tomorrow because Ziggy can go out. So the Scarborough mice are not safe anymore. Ziggy, the monster. But I'm so happy for her because she's literally depressed. Looking out of the window, depressed. Yuna. Oh, yes. The ears. She's just like, I remember the outer world. It was fun. Why can't I go there anymore? Tomorrow is a big day. So soften your shoulders. Slow breaths, deep breaths. Give your body some time and some space to settle into the shape. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, your leg might be shaking. When there is release like that, when the body starts to shake, I mean, if it's extremely unpleasant, obviously back off a little bit, but the shaking is normal. And feel the sun is setting here. Make sure you stay warm. I like that bend knee, Margarita, because you also have overextension. That's very smart to bend the knee, because otherwise that other foot. No, it's great. It's great. I love it. I actually liked it. It's like, oh, she's also, because you also have the overextension in the hips. So there seems to be sometimes placing that foot down is actually a good thing, because you can have a little bit more stability in the hips rather than flopping out. Just feels slightly different. Okay, a couple more rounds of breath here. Maybe the foot moves a little bit higher, the leg a little bit closer to the chest. You don't have to. Make sure your shoulders stay relaxed. Huh? We're not creating tension. Yes, there is tension in the body through breath. The breath creates a good tension, an appropriate amount of tension in the body, but no extra stress in that. Different definitions of the same word. The IN can come back. All right, maybe back off a little bit, give yourself some slack, and then twist over towards the side. See if the prop is there. I feel that I kind of totally am on my side. So I shimmy my hips. So I'm on the right side of the hip. Then I shimmy my shoulders. And then I can let that foot rest. A moment or two to just settle in. And then a softness with each breath. Already letting your central nervous system calm down, coming to the different mode of rest and recover, which already prepares you for a good night's sleep. Ideally, we would stay away from our phones or screens, definitely an hour, if and preferable 2 hours before going to sleep. It's just too many impulses for our brain. Read a book rather. Or journal. Sometimes people are like, yeah, I struggle to sleep. And then you ask them about their habits and you're like, well, no wonder you're struggling to sleep. There's a lot of things, small things we can do to support our body in its normal sleeping rhythm, rising rhythm. Light is a big one. Light is a big one. Soften your jaw, stay with your breath. The edge is starting to be there for me. Everybody is different. But there's a moment where I feel my body's like, okay, enough now, let's do something else. And I'm not forcing any pain, but I'm just saying, you know, let's breathe a couple more breaths and see what happens. And after the intensity changes, it's actually that point where the body is resisting something, resisting of letting go. And I often feel it's also the case in Shavasana, especially if we've done a vinyasa class. People go into Shavasana and then there's a moment where the body actually wants to sink into, letting go, and it feels a bit uncomfortable. It's like a passing of a threshold of doing to being energetically, and it's like, okay, it's enough now, let's go. So we don't allow ourselves to surrender. No need to stay in pain, but to be a bit comfortable, like to learn yourself with the breath, to be comfortable. With a bit of discomfort is okay. With a bit of an edge. Less than a minute, stay with your breath. Soften your eyes, so your eyes to be heavy. Eye sockets to soften. The eye muscles to relax. The eyelids to be heavy. Your tongue to soften. Two more rounds of breath here. And then slowly, move slowly, maybe bend the knee first. Come onto your back. Take a moment of breath here. And then set yourself up for your final resting pose. If you have a nice bolster like this one, but new ones, by the way, whoever wants to buy one. Sattva, Alex made me some new ones. Settle in, wiggle your tail, lift your hips. And then ask yourself the question, am I symmetrical? Right foot, right knee, right hip, left hip. Pressure into the right bum and left bum. Just scan your body. And then let go. Online yogis, if you want to leave and have a nice resting moment of journaling in your own length of pentacle or shavasana, be free to do so. You can keep your eyes closed for now and slowly take a breath in, noticing the energy inside you, around you, maybe also observing a bit of a difference on how you started around an hour ago and how beneficial this is. We need a list, we can feel it. I sometimes find it hard. What are the benefits of yoga? It's like, well, where do I start? It just also feels good. And that is Sometimes just enough, but there are many, many other benefits. We have a lovely evening ahead. You can keep your eyes closed for now, but start to go into that space of transitioning from that deep, deep place within, that deep, deep relaxation. A little bit more activation. Hands, fingers, maybe thumb to index, give it a squeeze. Thumb to middle finger, thumb to ring finger, thumb to pinky. Feel your hands, feel the little bones in your hands. We are so magnificent. You know, when you see a baby, you're just like, oh my God, it's so perfect. The little nails and the little bones, but we are just as beautiful. It's just that it's cute, a baby, but we are, I think if someone that is not human would have a consciousness and see us like, yo, these creatures are magnificent. How they are built, how they work, how they heal. So a deep appreciation for your own being, your body, your mind, your heart. And start to make those movements a little bit bigger. Oh, a lovely dramatic sigh, opening mouth. Yawn. Oh, that was a real yawn. Hug your knees into chest. Oh. Roll onto your sides. And in your own time, come back up into a seat. There's no rush at all. Keeping the eyes closed in a symbol and ritual of, yes, this was my time inwards, my time of self-care, of acknowledging, noticing deep conversations. Some of the conversations are very clear, thoughts, emotions, clear images, integrating the day. Others are like random and kind of vague. We don't have to understand it all, but it is a lovely way to integrate, rest, and prepare us for the rest of the evening and a restful sleep. Because healing happens when we are in a parasympathetic state, when we're resting. And that's where we can restore and rejuvenate. So thank you for showing up for yourself on the mat. Say something nice to yourself every day. It won't hurt. And thank you for being here. Namaste. See you next week. Bye. Time for a fire pause.